Labour Party presidential candidate advocates for single tenure for on the foreign scene. South Africa to withdraw diplomats from Israel. I am Constance Mega. Another student of the University of Port Harcourt has been found dead in her apartment. The body of the lady, who is a 200-level student of accounting, was found in her off-campus residence in Alu on Friday. The Dean of Student Affairs, Uniport, Professor Chima Wokocha, identified the student simply as Adeze.
Her body was brought to the Bulletin Health Center by people who live around her in her lodge. I want you to know that she did not die in the university hostel, please. She died in her off-campus residence in Alo. The crime of the scene was visited by the management of the university, including my humble self. The police there was also. I think the fact that taking a stance and a couple of instances that was found either. The parents have come and I think there are many arrangements secured.
State is commanded to speak on this. The chairman of Ubeta community, Nna Frankak, said 2 pipelines belonging to Aji company in Ubeta have been vandalized. Mr. Frank Jack tells correspondent Soibi Oruwari that the community is making efforts to get the attention of relevant agencies to the situation.
On Sunday, the 29th of October, some persons attacked and vandalized Aji pipeline carrying crude oil in Ubeta. The oil was left to flow into our farmlands before it was clamped by the Aji oil company. We woke up on Friday, 3rd of November. The same group had attacked and vandalized another pipeline belonging to Aji.
A security analyst, Jackson Ojo, says the redeployment of the chief security officer to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and other security aides is long overdue. Mr. Ojo, in an interview, said over the past 5 months, the governor unknowingly exposed himself to security threats by retaining security personnel inherited from his predecessor.
Fubara is very, very courteous of his own security. You can hear the commissioner for finance, minister of economic affairs, whatever. No security details. Your security details are your personal security apparatus. You don't allow anybody to hand them over to you.
Well, Mr. Ojo also raised concerns about security aides sharing classified information about the governor activity with his predecessor. Nyapo of Dapa Amak Executive Council in Opobo Town, PP members of the GCP for of sides finding cause of the political crisis in Rivers State. The council organization community, Chairman of Can, His Royal Highness Abo Professor DMJ Fubara.
The son in question has been known to be a respectable and respectable penalty right on his back and has been devoid of any criminal record in his activities that would warrant such a heinous accusation that would lead to his impeachment in office.
Well, the communique also urged police to be professional and recognize the constitutional rights of Siminalayi Fubara.
Both in government and in private life never abuses his order. We advise the police to be professional in the discharge of their duties and recognize the constitutional rights of the governor of Rivers State. We are pleased with the developmental strides of our son.
Well, the council also expressed satisfaction with the achievements of Governor Siminalayi Fubara in office and pledged support for the current administration. In the same vein, a former commissioner in Rivers State, David Briggs, says former Governor Nyesom Wike cannot claim ownership of the PDP structure in Rivers State. Mr. Briggs spoke to our correspondent.
The former governor has no structure. We want for him to win because we are members of PDP. They are not the least will be fighting with him. The truth about party politics is that when a leader is in charge, he is the leader. Wike now is no longer the governor of Rivers State. Same is the leader of PDP.
A former lawmaker Friday in KA says the suspension of Edison Ehie as leader of the Rivers State House of Assembly is strange. Mr. Nka was reacting to the political crisis in the state.
When you suspend a member from sitting, you are suspending the entire constituency that is representing from sitting. You are depriving the constituency from participating in democracy and in legislative business. The law talks about recall based on disgruntled behavior, lawlessness, or inability to perform the responsibilities for which you were elected. That's where a person can be recalled by his constituency. The issue of suspension is very strange.
He also said there is a procedure before an impeachment notice is served on a governor. Still to come, Labour Party presidential candidate advocates for single tenure for president. Stay tuned.
Do you need a
Thanks for staying with us. And now to the rest of the news. Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is advocating for a constitution reform that will allow for a 5-year single term that will be rotational. Mr. Obi said this at a media conference in Abuja.
I will go for 5-year tenure, which will go for 30 years rotational, a 5-year tenure. Massive campaign for one thing. If we cannot go back to issue of parliamentary democracy, we must have a quasi system that will allow our leaders to be able to be part of the legislature, especially to answer questions.
And in business, some gas truck drivers in Port Harcourt say there is no scarcity of cooking gas. Well, some of them tell our correspondents that the product is available but too expensive for marketers to buy at the depots. In entertainment, Nollywood comic actor John Okafor, better known as Mr. Ibu, has undergone surgery to remove one of his legs. In sports, England will play friendlies against Brazil and Belgium at Wembley in March as they prepare for next summer's European Championships.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
South Africa says it will recall all of its diplomats from Tel Aviv following Israel's intense airstrikes on Gaza on Sunday night. And that's the news. But before we go, another look at the highlights of the major stories. You heard that another Uniport student has been found dead in her off-campus apartment in Alu in Rivers State. Hoodlums have vandalized 2 pipelines in Ubeta community, Rivers State. Peter Obi is advocating for a 5-year single tenure for presidents. On the foreign scene, you heard that South Africa says it will withdraw its diplomats from Israel. The news was edited by Martha Okerenkem. For any eyewitness report and breaking news, text and send your WhatsApp pictures and videos to our news desk line on 0808 721 7215. I'm Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.